Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well this Tuesday morning. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. And also at the top of the chat, you cannot miss it. Join conversations, chat with other traders, share setups. I post ideas there as well. And of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders if you are interested. So make sure you go check it out if you are wanting to do so. The link's in the description and at the top of the chat. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Will, good morning. Hope you are well. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing good as well. Ahmed, what is up? Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Will said nicely there to take a position. Okay, I said you remember you mentioned you were looking to short Euro, weren't you? I'll go through USD pairs. We'll take a look at DXY, USD, gold and silver. Then we'll take a look at Euro yen, and we'll go through some other yen pairs, of course, as well. Still not a big fan of the yen pairs, to be honest. I do like dollar yen, but looks like that had a big reaction overnight. So I'm wondering if I'll find an entry for that one. But apart from that, other yen pairs, not a big fan of them. But we'll go through them. I'll share my opinions, of course. If there's any particular pairs you do want to see, drop it down in the chat. We'll talk about it. And if there's a particular time frame as well, let me know. What's up, Alex? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. So let's start with the dollar. So DXY was a little bit bullish yesterday, which is actually kind of what I wanted to see. This one's got a lot of gaps. That was a lot of gaps as well. So yeah, dollar was pretty bullish. We had a big gap to the upside. Price had a bit of a reaction from that 107 area. Did it hit the consolidation? I believe so. Yes, it did. So this is the area I'm looking for the dollar to react from, and we have seen a pretty nice reaction. So I'm looking for a retest and either a high low or equal low for some longs there for the dollar. Again, this is an area where I could, the market could see a higher low and possibly continue to the upside. And this is the area where I'm looking for entries. Well, not on the dollar, but on euro and pound, which we'll get to in a second. But of course, this is our last major high low. This is our last low, which gave us this high here, of course, breaking through that high. So essentially, we're looking for a pullback of that swing and for continuation of it. If I do whip out the fib from the high to the low, you can see we're in that 0.618 area. So it's a healthy pullback coming into an area where we've consolidated in the past and we saw a lot of momentum to the upside. So we know that, okay, there's a lot of buying pressure in this area, and we've had some confluence with the fib as well. And now we're seeing a reaction on the 4-hour time frame. So if we can see that high low or an equal low, I will be anticipating the dollar to see some upside and possibly a swing all the way back to 110 and potentially a lot higher, of course. And if you jump into euro, I'm pretty much looking at euro doing the exact opposite. Nice reaction as well for euro USD, kind of looking for something similar, looking for a lower high or an equal high, and then looking for price to continue to the downside. And hopefully we can look to catch that and swing it back to the prior low, which is all the way down there. Again, doesn't have to necessarily be a trade all the way down there. As I said yesterday, even if you can catch a swing halfway, depending on your entry, you're probably still looking at a healthy 1 to 2, 1 to 3, maybe even more than that. And then you can look to manage the trade, halfway and leave some positions to run should we continue a lot further. Of course, if you want to look for the big swing, the potential is there as well. But it's the same situation for Euro USD. Lovely swing high over there. It created that low, of course, breaking through this low here. Now, essentially, we're looking for the pullback of this move for the continuation. And in this case, we've actually pushed into the 0.786. So nice fib confluence there. So now looking for that lower high or that equal high for the continuation a lot lower. So still bearish on Euro USD. Still mostly respecting this level of support here on the left and the weekly chart as resistance. So as long as that stays true and we don't start breaking above that, then I will keep that bearish bias intact for euro, looking for a big move to the downside. If we do start breaking above this, especially on the weekly chart, then of course I will kind of relax that bias and maybe even switch it to a bullish one. But for now, still respecting areas where we could sell off and looking for that retracement for that continuation lower. And of course, dollar looking for pretty much the opposite, but yeah, expecting them to move in sync. In terms of pound USD, we are still testing that 1.25 area, which is looking good. Had a bit of a reaction yesterday, which is nice to see a sign that pound USD is respecting 1.25 and we're not just breaking straight through. So we are respecting it. Euro had a better reaction yesterday, so it looks a little bit better. Again, something similar on pound I'm looking for as well. For continuation back to that prior swing low. If I expand and look at the bigger picture, you can see we've got these major lower highs, which pound USD has been printing. One over there, second over there, third over here, and again, looking at a fourth generally in this area. So that's what I'm looking for my entries, and hopefully a swing back to the prior low around 1.21 looks pretty good. We've broken through that ascending channel a long time ago, so that's kind of what I'm expecting price. Expecting price to stay below because we've saw a really strong break of that area. And again, if price wanted to go bullish in the daily chart, I would have expected us to at least bounce from this area and show some signs of continuation. We didn't really get that. There was a slight bounce, but price later went and broke through. So I'm looking for this bearish trend to continue and possibly another swing back to that low. Yeah, Euro USD had a slightly bigger reaction, so the price action in terms of the entry looks a little bit better. But pound USD could still potentially sell off a little bit, give us a lower high somewhere and get some nice shorts or an equal high. So still looking for shorts for pound. Really nice area here at 1.25. And again, looking for some entries to take this one lower. In terms of dollar CAD, I believe we're still in consolidation for that one. Yes, we are. So not much to report on, to be honest, here with dollar CAD. I'm looking for opportunities, preferably to the upside here of dollar CAD, but we're just within the range, so nothing really to report on for the past 2-3 weeks now. Really, I'm still looking for push back to the high there, not too far away. There is a massive level of weekly resistance turn support here, which potentially we could see price pull back towards before continuing. So there could be a lot more downside in store for us for dollar CAD before we do see some upside. Or, of course, we could just break to the upside and continue and go and hit that high. Either which way, long term, I'm pretty bullish on dollar CAD. However, as we continue to trade in that range, I'm just going to sit on the sidelines until we can see some opportunities as price does go and break the high and we look for some pullbacks, or we go and break the low and look for some pullbacks there as well. So, yeah, really not interested in dollar CAD as long as we stay within that range, waiting for the breakout patiently. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one a bit of a move to the downside as well. I'm still looking for a bit bigger of a pullback for Aussie dollar. Again, as I've been mentioning, we've taken out some really key lows on the daily, weekly charts here. So we've taken out that low there. We've taken out this low here as well. So I'm not really interested in shorting Aussie dollar at these prices. We've had a really big drop over the past few weeks. Now it's time to see a bit of a pullback. And it looks like we are seeing signs of that happening. It's just we haven't seen much of one yet. I'm at least looking for price to get to this area around 0.637. Really steady level of support on the daily chart, which now, of course, will be flipped as resistance. So I'm still looking for Aussie dollar to find some feet and keep pushing to the upside. I think intraday buys still look pretty good, actually. I think there's a bit of a trend line confluence here connecting the higher lows. So I still think intraday buys do look pretty good there for Aussie dollar. In terms of shorts and what I'm really waiting for, I do want to see price start testing these daily levels before I do look for any entries. So Aussie dollar still anticipating a little bit more upside, but again, purely as a pullback for price to continue lower. That's still my thinking. New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same setup as well. There's a couple levels I'm looking at for this one to short from. We've got the prior low here, which we just broke through. I haven't had a retest of that since the breakout. And likewise with this level, although the market was kind of chopping around a little bit when it initially did break, but it still looks like a really healthy area to short from. So 0.58, 0.586, we'll call it, other areas I'm interested in. But likewise with Aussie dollar, price has been very, very corrective. So again, looking for a bigger pullback here. And hopefully we can talk about some shorts pretty soon from that 0.58 area or that 0.586, depending where we get to and how bullish or bearish we are. But again, from an intraday point of view, I do think we probably will bounce to the upside here for New Zealand dollar. I'm just not really interested in the shorts just yet. You can see we're kind of getting this bowl shape pattern a little bit, maybe not the textbook ones, kind of a bit more like a V shape type bowl. But again, you can see how corrected the market is. Not really something that gives you a lot of confidence to short for a big swing. So yeah, expecting more upside there for New Zealand dollar. Still bearish on the higher time frames, so that's where the main focus does lie. In terms of gold, gold's actually looking very, very interesting. I'm looking to buy gold from this level here at 27.20-ish, 27.25. I'm looking to buy gold from there, anticipating another swing back to the all-time highs and hopefully a lot further as well. There is that psychological level of 2,800 just above where we're trading. So I think that could be a nice little target to have. But yeah, gold had a big move to the downside yesterday. I wasn't expecting that. I think on stream yesterday, this candle here was looking pretty bullish. I was like, okay, maybe gold's just going to continue to the upside and not give us the pullback. But then the afternoon came and gold was very, very bearish and we had a big drop there. So I'm looking to see if gold can roll over one more time, go test that same level, 27.25, find some entries in that area, and hopefully we can take it back into the swing high. Again, with gold, high time frames here, all very, very bullish. Weekly chart, very bullish. You can see the trend here on the weekly time frame still looking very, very healthy. You can see the last weekly candle close very strongly bullish as well. Of course, hasn't taken out that high yet, but with that momentum, there's a good chance that this week probably will go and take out that high as well. So yeah, very, very bullish on gold. If we do break underneath that level, 27.25, that's when I probably relax the bias a little bit. We might go for a deeper correction before pushing up. But this is a clear-cut level, was resistance very, very well not too long ago. Price is now broken through with some healthy momentum, leaving behind a healthy area for a retest. Did not mean to do that. For a retest and some longs. So yeah, just waiting to buy gold really. Of course, not quite at my level yet, so still waiting for one more move down, which on the lower time frames does look like we could go through as well. We had a really big drop yesterday. This to me might be a bit of a correction, and then we might see a drop maybe again this afternoon when the New York session does step in. But yeah, very, very bullish on gold, looking for a push back to the all-time high. In terms of silver, not a big fan of this one. It's getting very choppy now. We had this ascending channel, which looks like price is kind of breaking through, really, which is funny because it's more of a bearish signal for silver, which is funny because gold still looks very, very bullish. And I'm expecting gold to go and take out those all-time highs. But silver, I don't know what silver's doing. It's kind of just messing around, really. I mean, I'm looking for silver to get back to these highs. That's still the plan. And it well could be doing that in the long term. But we are just so corrective now on these lower time frames. And if anything, this could be a high, a lower low. This could be another lower high for potential another lower low. With how corrective prices being, and the fact that we're starting to break shots to the downside, this is more of a bearish signal for silver and could give us a swing back to the lows there. So silver, although I'm very much a bull for silver, I'm still looking for buys. There is no bullish setup here, to be honest, or at least a good one anyway. So I'm kind of just, on the sidelines with silver. I know I'm looking to buy, but nothing there yet. Maybe if you do have one more push to the downside back into the lows, I may consider something like that, but we're a long way away from that as well. So gold looks pretty clear to me. So just focus on that one really in terms of the buys. But yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD markets. Very, very bullish on gold. Still bullish on USD. We haven't broken for any key structure yet. That is changing my bias long term. So still looking for downside in euros, still looking downside in pounds. But gold still looks really good. So hopefully we can see a bit more downside and get some buys. Anyway, where were we? What's up, Dark Sean? Hope you're doing good. 50 EMA 4 hour is same. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Your yen will. Dark Sean, GJ 5-minute, please. It looks awful this morning. Oh, okay, we'll go take a look. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the price action in the 4 hour time frame. So yeah, I'm just not a fan of the price action in general, really, for pound yen. But we'll go take a look. Gold US 30. Alex, yes, we'll go take a look. No problem. Philip, what is up? Hope you're well. I've been smiling. Sold Euro USD 1.05. My target 1.02. Okay, cool. We'll go take a look at that one. Aussie CAD 1 hour time frame. Yes. Zola will take a look as well. Dollar CHF. We will have a look. See Himanshu, what is up? Good place the long pound CHF for target. For my memory, probably not. Pound CHF's kind of in the middle of a range right now, so I probably wouldn't long that. But yeah, I'll go take a look at Euro Yen for Will, and I'll go through some of the requests, and then we'll go through the yen pairs altogether. So Will, you said you're looking to short this one. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the yen pairs really, apart from one or maybe two, most likely one. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Euro Yen. I was last week or maybe the week before last, and basically before we took out this high here, because we did have some really nice bearish structure on the 4-hour chart. We had the high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So the market was making sense here. We of course had a bullish structure going up, bearish coming back down. So essentially I was looking for another lower high to catch for another swing to the downside. So textbook stuff there from Euro Yen. However, that changed when we did break through the swing high here. And that just made things really awkward because we've gone from bullish structure to bearish structure to bullish structure, and now we actually broke that as well. Now we're bearish again. So to me, it's just very sideways. Yes, there are structure within structure as well, but again, it's quality over quantity, and for me, not necessarily seeing much quality here with Euro Yen anymore. So I'm kind of waiting for price to tidy itself up. And yes, we could be seeing a move to the downside here. If I go to the hourly chart, it probably makes a little bit more sense. So as you can see, price did break to the upside there. Then it broke back to the downside again. So that's probably why you're looking for some shorts. You also mentioned the 50 EMA on the 4-hour chart, didn't you? Was it 4-hour hourly? So I'm not even really a fan of the moving average as well, because it's kind of in the middle of price as well. If it was like above us as resistance, that would be nice, or below us as support, that would be nice as well, because you could probably trade it towards the moving average. And if it, of course, was resistance as well, you can use that to your advantage as well. But the fact is that we're in the middle, kind of not great. Actually, no, you said the 200, didn't you? Is this the 200? Or was it the 50 you said? Yeah, 50 is not great either, to be honest. It's kind of still in the middle of price. So yeah, I'm not really a big fan. Okay. On the hourly chart, looks a lot better. Okay, I see what you mean. If it's the hourly chart, 50 EMA you're referring to, which I think is probably what you said, didn't you? Oh no, you're waiting for a strong reaction on the 200 on the hourly. Let me change that to the 200. 50 makes sense because we're using it as resistance there. Yeah, so if you're waiting for a reaction, so you're probably waiting for something like this to happen, and then we maybe use it on the 200. Maybe something like that might make some sense. See last week more as a fake out for the bigger move. Okay, downside percent 200 hours the same as the 4-hour 50. Yeah, okay. If you're looking at that, that could be the case. We potentially could have faked out, upside, take out people in the wrong direction, because that would suck in some buys, and of course that would take a lot of stops here as well. So that could potentially now give us that move and that continuation to the downside. That could be the case. Like I said, I'm still very bearish in Euro Yen as well. I still do fancy a big move to the downside for this one too. In terms of entries, for me, I'd probably wait for price to push up here. If it does, it may not, of course, because that's the area where I probably can get a nice safe stop loss, maximize my risk to reward, and I won't be kind of in the noise of this area here. But yeah, potentially that was a fake out. Of course, we'll never know until we get the answer. But from a lower time frame perspective, I wouldn't mind. It kind of looks like a bit of a head and shoulder pattern here. Again, the best head and shoulder patterns are normally at the top of trends, which kind of is true for here. It's top of this trend, but in the middle of a big range there. So the point I'm trying to get at is that it's not necessarily clean. It still may give us that move to the downside, but the reason why I'm staying away is because it's a bit choppy now. And again, just because it's choppy doesn't mean it's not going to sell off. It's just that's the reason why I'm not looking at euro yen at the moment. But in terms of structure, it does make sense on the lower time frames, because we did break structure there, and that was a bit like a V-shaped reversal pattern as well, which probably will give us some more downside. But it's just how far will that move go? We might see a nice sell-off this afternoon, but as we start approaching some areas here, we might start to push back up again. So that would be my worry. If you're looking for a trade for like a couple of days or a day, I think euro yen could be a nice one to look at. But if you're looking for a big swing, which is kind of what I'm looking for, as we approach some of these areas, it could get a bit tricky. Yes, it could be a fake out for price to keep falling, but equally could be a higher low forming for price to push up again. So you have to kind of play both sides of the coin. So targets around this area make a lot of sense. Targets down here make sense too, but you just run the risk of price doing that against you. So yeah, again, there's never a trade that is going to be a guarantee, of course. But you do want to be aware of, okay, if I'm selling the market, where potentially the buyer is going to get in. If I'm buying a market, where potentially the seller is going to get in. And I would suggest that low is something to keep an eye out for. But personally, I am bearish in euro yen, as I've been saying for a while. Still looking at this as just a big correction for price to eventually capitulate to the downside. But in terms of entries for myself, I think I'll probably wait for a push to the high there. Again, we may not do that. We may just fall to the downside. So that could be the case, but that's where I will wait to see price can get to. I'll have a look at pound yen on the 5-minute chart. Now I'll take a look at US 30 for Alex, and we'll go over gold quickly as well. What's up, man? Zondi, hope you're well. I feel like Kadri was developing a head and shoulder pattern setup or wait for a bit. It looks like a few yen pairs are doing head and shoulder patterns. I'll get to CAD yen in a second. I just got some requests to get through. Then we'll just go through all the yen pairs together. So yeah, pound yen on the 5-minute chart. Dark Sean, you said it's looking a bit rough. Yeah, it is a little bit rough, isn't it? It's a bit all over the shop. It looks like we might be forming a lower high. So we had the high over there, low, another lower high, massive move to the downside. Is this a correction of that for maybe another move down? Possibly. At the moment here, of course, it's just consolidation, equal highs, equal lows. So the market's kind of bouncing between that. There might be a nice buy as we come back to this area here. So you might dip below, and then there might be a nice buy. Whether it takes us all the way to some new highs or just a lower high to come back down, that's a different situation, because in terms of clarity, in terms of direction, I don't think it's that clear right now for pound yen. It's not like back over here where we had a very clean downtrend and you're kind of just looking for sells there. Here is kind of a bit more 50-50. We could still be looking to push higher to go and test the highs here again. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a lower high to push back down. So it's kind of a bit more unclear. But in terms of bullish territory, I like this area here because we did stall here for a few candles before a really big push to the upside, and it's just on the low side of the range as well. So I do think this is an area where we could see a nice bounce. In terms of targets, that's where it gets a bit tricky. I think if you can target the low of the range, that would be a nice place to target, and maybe the high of the range as well. In that case, if we do roll over, you're kind of protected against that. And if you do push the high, you can still take advantage of that move as well. But yeah, something like that makes sense to me. Nice double bottom there, higher low. Potentially could see the next higher low there. Maybe the bigger move is still to the downsides, but we might see one more bounce before continuing. But yeah, you're not wrong. Not a big fan of the price action there. And again, sometimes it's just not a trading day. Sometimes the price action will look very, very clear and you have a good feeling about the trade. Of course, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win all the time, but at least you're confident and clear with the analysis. Sometimes the days will be very choppy and you're kind of like, should I take the trade? Should I not? Those trades are normally better off not to take. Of course, with a pinch of salt, because sometimes you might just get in the way of yourself and not take a good trade just because of being hesitant. But if you can clearly see the conditions of the market are not great, not optimal, then 9 times out of 10 it's best to stay out the way. But yeah, not the biggest fan of pound yen. US 30 was very bullish yesterday. Really strong move to the upside, if I recall. Yes, really strong move to the upside. I said buy still look good for US 30 because although S&P and Nas had some really big bearish days yesterday, although we did recover a little bit in the afternoon, um, we were looking very, very bearish at one point. US 30 barely made, well, it did sell off, but it was just pretty normal, to be honest. I was originally talking about the retest of this area for some longs. We did break through that. Looks like we just missed this area here. But I also mentioned for US 30 that a retest of the high here looks really good for some longs, and a push back to the high there. Of course, we never got anywhere close to that. But unfortunately, we did miss out this level here by a very small margin. But yeah, US 30 is looking very bullish. As I said, the targets for US 30 are back to the all-time highs, just like it are with NAS as well. S&P already created all-time highs, so that's why kind of was expecting a bit of a pullback for that one, but not necessarily the NAS or US 30 just yet, because we haven't taken up the highs. But it looks like US 30 is on its way to doing that. So yeah, I would say in terms of opportunities, we're probably going to see something like this over the next couple of days. More upside, maybe a slight correction, more upside. So if you're looking to get involved to take advantage of this move, you're kind of looking to see if you can get involved in a correction like this, maybe tomorrow, maybe today as well. We might come back down, maybe form a larger correction and then push on. So maybe that could happen this New York session, but overall US 30 is looking very bullish and expecting new all-time highs past 45K pretty soon. So yeah, if you're looking to get involved, I would only look at buys. Then maybe once we take out the high, then we can speak about maybe some retracement shortly afterwards. In terms of gold, as I mentioned before, looking for the retest of this level 2720 for some longs back to the all-time high. I have marked on 2800. That's the next big psychological level for gold. So I would expect us, if we are going to take out the highs, probably to go and test 2800 at least. Maybe we'll probably go a lot further as well, but at least 2800 I expect to be hit. So yeah, very bullish in gold. Clear-cut level of resistance here. Really strong rejections. Now will be turned support. As long as price can hold that, I think that's a really nice place for some longs, and we can trade it back to the high there. So yeah, what can I say? Gold is still very bullish to me. Hasn't really done anything. I mean, I know it's broke some lower time frame structure down here, but that doesn't really do anything in terms of the bigger move. In fact, it might just mean that we do sell off a little bit further, which is something I want price to do, so it can actually test my level, and I can look for my longs and take it back to the high. So yeah, very, very bullish on gold. Expecting a lot more upside with this one. Okay, I'll go look at Bitcoin, dollar CHF, pound CHF, Bitcoin. Now I'll just go through the yen pairs completely together. What's up, Seeds Integrated? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, Saki Forex. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Yes, they got into a buy off the stream and got a good pip size on the correction. Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting on some profits from yesterday, then if today's not looking clear, I'll just sit on the profits from yesterday. Again, maybe the New York session things get better because, of course, in the 5-minute time frame, a lot can change between now and the New York session. But you could always wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. Anyway, okay, I'll go through dollar CHF for Ching. No, Aussie CAD. I'll go through. No, Euro USD. Forgot about you, Philip. My bad. You're smiling from the Euro USD short position you caught from 1.05331. 1.05331. Okay, impressive. Reach 331. That's right at the high there. That's literally at the top of the wick. And your target is 1.02714. Okay, somewhere around here. Wow, what's the risk reward in that position? That's looking very, very big. But yeah, it's looking very bearish for Euro USD. Nice reaction yesterday. I'm bearish as well on this one. Still looking for some more downside. In terms of entries for myself, I'm either looking for price to go make it equal higher or lower high in terms of entries. But overall, I do still fancy more downside for euro. I do still fancy more upside for the dollar. Had a bit of a reaction on that level I was mentioning yesterday for the DXY. Really nice consolidation here. Nice reaction to the upside. And it was a bit of a gap, but same thing. So again, looking for a bit of a correction and some more upside there for the dollar as well. So pretty bullish on both of them. Well, bullish on dollar, bearish on euro. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. I have a bearish swing bias for euro as well. Until we start taking out structure, I am looking for that swing on euro as well. So it is definitely looking good. Congrats on that position. Aussie CAD on the hourly time frame. Let me know what you're looking to do with that. Looks like we're testing the 200 there. Aussie CAD on the hourly time frame. Probably looking at a bit of a sell. Probably at least back to this area here. Because of course that is an area which could take us back down again. But yeah, you're probably looking at a bit of a buy there. Sorry, not sell. You're probably looking at a bit of a buy there for Aussie CAD in the hourly time frame. We've taken out some structure here on the hourly chart. You know, this was our last major high, which gave us this low. We've since gone and broken through that, and now we've been forming a bit of bullish structure here on the hourly chart as well. So I would say as long as we keep this structure up, this is not a bad place to go long. But probably watch out for this zone here. That could be a nice first target. And if you can break through that, you can leave some positions to run back to the high there as well. Kind of forming a bit of a ascending channel like this. And then bring that to the other side, something like that. I mean, it's not the clean cut channel, but makes the sense. And of course, tossing the 200 as confluence as well. So I would say Aussie CAD's likely to go for a move to the upside. As I suggested, I'd watch out for this area because maybe Aussie CAD is going for a bigger sell. And that is an area where I would expect a reaction if we are going to sell off. So I would suggest that 0.903 looks like a healthy target. And if the trend does continue, you can look of course, for a push back to the high. But definitely watch out for that first area. So yeah, Aussie CAD hourly chart, I would say more upside looks good, but watch out for that first level because we could definitely sell off from there. Anyway, let's take a look at dollar CHF, and then we'll go through pound CHF and Bitcoin. So dollar CHF, last time I checked was looking pretty bearish, but looks like we had a really strong reaction yesterday. So this one, things are still very corrective in the lower time frames. Looks like we're having another reaction to the 200 like we did over there. But we are still very, very corrective in terms of the shorts. You can see how we've been moving. It has been some okay lower highs, but altogether very, very choppy price action on the lower time frames. In terms of the higher time frames, we know where we're coming from. A really nice rejection of a healthy area of resistance. You can see on the weekly chart here, massive rejection once, twice, and the third time. So there could still be a lot more downside here for dollar CHF in the long term. In terms of a trade, I'll probably want to see price kind of maybe consolidate for a little bit, maybe give us a nice rejection, another lower high, kind of similar to what we did over there, as well. Potentially looking at that again. So we kind of fake the high, and that could develop into a nice entry for a sell, possibly back to the lows there as well. If we just continue this momentum and take out the high there, then yeah, price is probably going to push back to the weekly resistance. But at the moment in time, we still do have these lower highs, and we could still be looking at continuation. The chart has been very, very choppy, and it's not really clean. So you kind of want to wait for evidence of a bit of a fake out before shorting. because price has kind of done that in abundance right now. You can see a consolidation there, a bit of a fake, then we drop, consolidation there, a bit of a fake, then we drop, consolidation there, a bit of fake, then we drop. You're kind of looking for that pattern to repeat again, especially when we had this kind of V-shape reversal here. So impulse down, impulse up, which typically does mean more upside as well. So we kind of want to see evidence of failure to break to the upside and use that to advantage for a sell. And of course, if things go well, we can look to target back at the lows. But as long as you keep up this bearish structure, still looking at more downside here for dollar CHF. And of course, it's nice to know that we've got that higher time frame confidence because we're trading away from a massive level resistance. Maybe we go and test the 200 on the daily at some point. So yeah, I would still be bearish on this one, short term and long term, based on that price action. Of course, if we go and break outside of that, then that will change the bias altogether. But yeah, at least expecting some type of reaction. In terms of pound CHF, Himanshu asked, is it a good time to go long? Last time I checked, pound CHF was still in a range, and it looks to be that's still the case. So yeah, no, I would say as an answer to that question. Not that we can't go higher, but this is just not the best place to be looking to buy a market, especially one that is rangy. You want to focus your efforts at the extremes, or right down at the low or right up at the high. This is where you can get a pretty safe stop loss and, of course, maximize your risk reward, whether you're looking for the short or the buy. You're kind of looking for price to go and fulfill that range. If you're going to get involved here, stop losses here, it's a bit more risky. Risk reward isn't as great either. And you're more prone to getting kind of wicked out and still see price moving in a direction. Of course, that can happen at these lows. But again, if you do get faked out, you can always re-enter. And again, you can still have a relatively tight stop loss and still maximize your risk reward. So, it's just generally a lot better to enter down at the lows or up at the highs. Right now, we're kind of slap bang in the middle. So I would avoid taking any entries in this area. Again, pound CHF may still want to be pushing to the upside. It may still want to see a move like that. That's probably the case. But in terms of entries, I'll say the trade is ready left the station. You want to at least wait for price to get back to the lows again or push back to the highs. And your target is 1.136. So yeah, more or less back at the highs. So yeah, I would agree. I think pound CHF is likely to make a push there, but I wouldn't want to be trying to find entries now, preferably down at the low. So yeah, that's kind of my take on pound CHF. In terms of Bitcoin, Philip, you said you sold Bitcoin last week, 107, 0112, target 99, 905. In a buying position for 100, 378, target is 109. What do you think? Okay, let's go take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a bit bullish towards the end of yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, big pullback there. It was very, very bearish on stream yesterday. And then we kind of had a bit of a reaction. Same with US 30, US 100, S&P. They all kind of just pulled back towards the end of the day. So yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin to me looks like it's just in a big range again. So we got equal highs over there, we got equal lows here, and that kind of just sums up the range for me. Again, in terms of opportunities, just as a reference to pound CHF, these are the areas where I would anticipate some buys. Again, I'm not trying to say you can't find a winning trade within the range. You can find a winning trade pretty much anywhere, but just in terms of consistency, in terms of sustainability, you're better off waiting for price to get to the extremes of a range. Right at the bottom or right at the top. So yeah, with pound CHF and Bitcoin, we're kind of just trading in a range right now. So I wouldn't touch these until they get to the low or the high. Bitcoin has just had a pretty nice reaction off the high there. I wonder if we're going to push back to the low. It looks like there's some minor support resistance in this area. It looks like the price is bouncing from. So maybe we do see another push back to the high. But again, in terms of clarity and the cleanness of the price action, the setup, I'm not really a big fan. Like we had a few weeks ago with this massive wick through support, that was a really nice sign that Bitcoin was going to push to the upside. Of course, how far, that's a different question. But when you're seeing big aggressive wicks at the low of a range or at key level support, there's always a good chance that price is going to react in the opposite direction. And I know this is a level which price has kind of done the exact same situation. Nice wick through the level. But again, I would much rather it be down at this low rather than that area there. So yeah, Bitcoin, I'm not a fan of the price action right now. I'm just seeing it as a range. Really, my focus is, can we break the high, or can we break the low? That's really where my focus is now for Bitcoin. As of the kind of intraday, intra-week price action, we're probably going to fluctuate some more, and it just becomes very choppy to dissect the price action there. So I'll just wait for us to break out the high, and then hopefully some opportunities will find us there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin. I'll go through the yen pairs next. So yeah, I know people request CAD yen as well. And Zundi, I'll take a look at that in a second. C is integrated, DXY for resistance 107, waiting for retest. Last time 6496 longs loss. What should you take? Okay, I'll take a look at the DXY first, then we'll go for CAD yen. Yeah, gold forever. We'll go for dollar yen as well. Yes, we'll take a look at gold. Hey, appreciate that, Holy One. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out, and of course, make sure you do hit the bell as well, so you don't miss on any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, appreciate everyone who has liked so far. But if you are enjoying the stream, it doesn't hurt. Drop a like. I do really appreciate it. What's up, Tom? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. We're doing good. Or at least I'm doing good. Hope everyone else is doing good on the stream. And hope you are too. Let me go take a look at the DXY quickly. So CS Integrated, you said you're looking at some longs from... Where's your message? Okay, DXY for resistance 107.938, which is basically where we're trading right now, around that high there. Possible retest of 106.978, 106.978, which is basically the low, which is pretty much what I'm looking for, to be honest. That's really looking to enter long. If not, last down 106.496. Okay, that's the area you mentioned yesterday, I'm pretty sure. Stop loss 106.300. So yeah, I'm kind of looking at the same thing as well. So I'm looking, because price had a nice reaction from that zone. I marked out yesterday. So now that we had that reaction, now I'm looking for price to either form a higher low or from an equal low to then anticipate upside there for the dollar. But I'm looking kind of for the same pattern on euro pretty much. Or pound USD, they both look okay, except Euro's had a slightly bigger reaction, so that one looks a little bit tidier right now, but things can change. But yeah, for the dollar, we are respecting this area, and this is kind of like my last area where I will look to go long. If the dollar does break through this zone, then we could still continue to the upside. It might just be an even deeper pullback than expected. However, I don't really have much confluence if we do break through that level, so it's just not set up for me to take. And likewise with euro, and likewise with pound as well, if we break through that 1.25 resistance as well. So yeah, the DXY in a really nice area for a bounce, pull back into 0.618, testing that consolidation there. Had a really nice initial reaction, so looking to see if we can go back that up and get some follow through. And if everything goes well, could be seeing a push all the way back to the swing high at 110. So yeah, very bullish here for the dollar. That is my take. We'll go through gold quickly, and then I'll go through the yen pairs. So yeah, as I mentioned with gold, excuse me, as I mentioned with gold, very, very bullish on this one. Looking for a push back to the all-time high, and we're very close to it. So essentially just looking for the retest of 27.20, some buys in that area, and hopefully we can see price continue to the high. Because again, looking at the weekly chart, the weekly kind of encompasses gold's price action very well. The trend we've seen since the start of last year, and since gold has exploded to the upside, we're still looking very bullish. And last week's candle, really nice close, nice momentum as well. So there's a good chance we're probably going to take up that wick high. If not this week, maybe next week, but there's a good chance that wick high is going to be taken out. And it's my job to try and see if I can find an entry to take advantage of that. And this is a really nice level, whereas resistance very well, now acting as support. So looking for confirmations in that area. Now, in terms of the yen pairs, I'm still not a big fan of the yen pairs, mostly, to be honest. I know we had a bit of a reaction yesterday. Things were looking bearish. Then we had a bit of a bullish reaction. Now, this morning, they're a bit bearish again. But again, in terms of the overall direction for the yen pairs, I know what I'm looking to do. I know I'm expecting at least, really massive swing to the downside. Still looking at this as a correction for price to continue. So that's still very much the full process with CAD yen. And we'll get to other yen pairs shortly. But in terms of entries, I really do want to see price push. I know it's quite far away, but push all the way up there. Because number one, I'll get a much better stop loss, way better entry, and the risk reward will be a lot higher as well. Right now, it looks like price is slowly pushing to the downside. We just about cleared the lows there yesterday, maybe for another lower high, but things just look very choppy. And together, this to me kind of just looks like consolidation, really. I know it's not clear cut like we saw pound CHF or maybe Bitcoin, but the price action is rough. It is pretty rough here for CAD Yen. So, as I said yesterday, I would be looking for some shorts for CAD Yen on the retest of this low. If we continue to the downside a lot further and give me some healthy momentum, then I would consider a breaking retest of support there for some entries and to get involved with CAD Yen. We didn't really do that. Of course, we still can, but we haven't done that yet. So I'm still very much on the sidelines with CAD Yen. Like I said, long-term bias and pretty bearish. Expecting price to push back into these lows, but I don't really see a good opportunity, at least on the 4-hour chart. If I scale to the hourly chart, I mean, things don't look particularly great there either. It's very, very flat as well. I mean, again, we could probably still see another swing to the downside here intraday. I wouldn't be too optimistic. If we can get a swing back to that low, I would call it a day there, given how choppy price is moving, how every time we do take out a low, price shoots back up again, takes out a low there, shoots back up. So if we do come back into the low, probably do want to lock in some gains there. So yeah, with CAD Yen, lower time frames are pretty bearish. So I would agree, shorts do look okay. But I wouldn't look to try and take it past the low here, given how choppy price action is. And the 4-hour chart just looks very ugly. So not really interested myself. Pound yen likewise as well. Very, very choppy stuff with this one. We're putting in consecutive higher lows, 2, 3, 4, and also putting in lower highs as well. So not really giving us clear-cut direction here. And I would expect it to be honest, because like I've been saying for a million times, that I still expect this just to be the correction of that drop there. So again, correction doesn't normally give you clear-cut textbook price action as well. It is just price kind of taking a breather before continuation. So that's still what I'm expecting. But because we're forming these higher lows here, I have to watch out in terms of my shorts, because let's say if I do get a short in this area, we very much could put in another higher low and then say goodbye to your floating profit. So I have to be careful for that, which is why I want to see a big push to the upside for pound yen so I can take some shorts at the high there. So, even if price does go put another higher low, there's still a decent amount of profit to be made and it's still worthwhile. But right now, pound yen is really corrective, at least in the 4-hour chart. And intraday, it's not looking great either as well. I know we had a nice reaction from this zone at the start of the week. But again, we could push down just to put a higher low in. So we have to be careful of that. But all in all, not really a big fan of the price action. That's really what I'm getting at right now. In terms of dollar yen, we'll take a look at this one as well. So dollar yen looked really good yesterday, or not yesterday, actually, early hours of the morning. I was talking about some buys from this zone here. We did see a really nice reaction, which occurred at 2 a.m. Could have maybe try and find an entry on the lower time frames. I mean, it wasn't particularly great, but we did start to pick up momentum around 11 p.m. So again, not the best time to be looking for entries, really, to be honest, because you're just going to get I suppose 11 p.m. onwards is not too bad because the daily candles already closed and spreads are coming back to normal from then onwards. But again, not the greatest time in the world to enter a trade. So it's a nice reaction again from dollar yen. So again, essentially looking for something like this to happen for some longs for myself. So again, take it back to the high. And if everything goes very well, we could be looking to take it back to 160. Oh, didn't mean to do that. 162, which is back to this high over there, 161,790. So very, very bullish on dollar yen. It's coming to a very healthy area where we can see a reaction. I've talked about this area a few times. I believe we tested the 50. Yes, we did. We tested the 50 as well. Some really nice confluence off the back of that. So again, looking for something like this, either a higher low or equal low at this area. And for me, that would be the signal to buy dollar yen and trade it back to the highs there. So I am bullish. This is the only yen pair which I actually do like. Only yen pair which is clear cut in terms of the market structure. Higher time frames are bullish. We've seen these massive swings. Even like if you go to the weekly chart, it's all seen bullish structure there as well. So we've got bullish structure upon bullish structure here. Momentum still in the market. Really nice bullish leg here for the last swing that created the new highs. We're seeing a pretty corrective pullback. So dollar yen to me, it still looks like a really nice buy. Other yen pairs are still a little bit wayward. So yeah, looking for something like this for dollar yen. There might be some intraday sells, but I'm not really interested in that. Then yeah, expecting a push back to the highs at 158.863. So yeah, that's really the plan with dollar yen. Which are the yen pairs? Aussie yen and New Zealand yen. Those guys are just in ranges really. So not much to report on for these guys, as I've been saying. Equal highs mostly, equal lows, and we've just been back and forth, back and forth. So waiting for price to clean up, waiting for momentum outside of these levels. So again, if you can break the high, fantastic. We can look to trade it back to the high here at 102. Likewise, if you do break to the downside, expecting us to at least get to this low, but then again, I would expect us to get to that low there as well. So yeah, either way, there's opportunity there for Aussie yen, but in the middle of the range, just not really interested. No problem. CS Integrated, happy to help. Tashi, what's up? New Zealand dollar, yes, we'll take a look for you. No problem. Holy one, lots of pairs this week have been gapping like stocks. Yeah, true. That is very, very true. DXY has been gapping all over the shop as well. Tom, off Jan, down 5% phase 2, two other accounts, both down 7% phase 1. It happens, my man. Again, it's always easy to trade when your equity curve's at new highs or you're pushing up because you're confident, you're feeling yourself, you're confident in your trading, confident in your edge. But of course, like any edge or any trading style or any trader, you will go through those down periods as well. And that's literally what makes or breaks you as a trader, really, because anyone can close their eyes and just go and hit buy on pound CAD and close it an hour later and potentially make a profit. It's 50-50 really. So making money is not necessarily the hardest part about trading. It's keeping the gains and of course managing your downside as well. That's where the difficulty lies. So yeah, it's going to happen sooner or later, Tom. So just stay focused, my man. Stay focused. If you need to lower your risk through the periods, do that so you don't, end up blowing a challenge or losing more money than you anticipated. So if you need to lower your risk, lower your risk. I know it's kind of like, okay, it takes longer to pass or longer to hit your target, but you'd rather it take longer to pass than lose the account altogether. So yeah. And as long as you're taking the trades you're supposed to take, you can't be too upset about it. Of course, if you're taking trades you're not supposed to take, then yeah, you're going to be angry at yourself, as you should be. But again, it's a long year. It's just the first month of the year as well. Come back swinging in Feb. Good morning, guys. Good morning, gold. Yes, just went through dollar yen. If there is a particular time frame you do want me to go through, let me know as well, because by default, I'm just going to spend most of my time on the 4-hour chart. But if you do want me to take a look at some more of the intraday time frames, let me know. Roadway, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good afternoon. Indices recovering. Yes, big time. Do you think investors are back or still cautious? I would say yeah. they're back, to be honest. I would say so, especially with Trump coming into power. I would say so. But then again, I'm not investing in the indices, so not the best person to ask. But I would expect so. I mean, I do think sooner or later we will go through a pretty big correction, but I don't really see any signs of that happening just yet. So I'm just expecting S&P to get back to highs, NAS to get back to highs, US 30 to get back to highs. Yes, we might go for a deeper correction at some point, but I just expect more upside in general and in the short term as well. Ninad, what is up? Hope you're well. Of course not. Well, we did go through quite a few pairs, but I will post clips of early in the stream on the channel, and of course the stream's uploaded, so you can always go back through it. Situation with oil. Okay, so I'll finish with the yen pairs. So I think I've got 2 or 3 more to go through. So I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs, and then I will take a look at New Zealand dollar for Tashi. If I have missed out a pair, let me know. If someone requested something earlier, I may have missed that out, but I'll go through New Zealand dollar for Tashi. Then we'll take a look at oil for you, but I am pretty bearish on that one. Holy one is DD payment sorted yet? Oh, I was going to say drawdown payment sorted. Yeah, I was going to say, what's that? Unfortunately, no, not at the moment. Hopefully, either this week or next week. It has been implemented, but not the way we wanted it to. Want it to be a bit more automatic. So, it is here. It is there. But in terms of the way the system kind of takes the payment, it's not quite automatic for us. So, getting my tech team to amend that. So hopefully either end of this week or next week. But yeah, it will be out very, very soon. So yeah, in terms of the rest of the yen pairs, New Zealand yen, yeah, pretty much the same as Aussie yen as we just mentioned, just still consolidating and waiting for price to pick a direction here. So not really interested within the range, need price to clear that, and then there could be some nice opportunities. But again, either which way, there are opportunities, because if we do break to the upside, looking for price to get back to 92 roughly, and if you do break to the downside, eventually looking for price to go and take out this wick, because again, that's our massive impulse. This is our correction, and then looking for that continuation to the low. So yeah, New Zealand yen to me looks really bearish overall. In terms of kind of intraday and 4-hour time frame price action is kind of just a mixed bag right now, so I wouldn't touch it inside of here. Again, if you're looking to play the range, you buy low, sell high, there are opportunities for that, of course. Not really something I look at myself, but if you're looking to play the range, this is not a bad range to look at. Some nice buys and sells have played out recently there, so potentially could see that happen again. So watch out for that. But again, there's not much to comment on there for New Zealand yen whilst we are moving sideways. And CHF JPY, this one is still looking somewhat bearish. I mean, I don't mind this one because we did form the equal highs here, then we started forming some lower highs. So it looks like the market slowly trending to the downside. This pullback didn't really quite fit the model I was looking for to trade, so I have stayed out of the market, but it looks like we're kind of slowly pushed down. But then again, we're creating a lot of support here. It's not really like a smooth continuation like we got here, or like even here was a little bit rough, but we still saw some nice downside there. Here looks very, very choppy right now for CHF JPY. So not a fan of the price action, in all honesty, for Swiss yen. Again, would like to see price kind of commit to the downside again with some newfound momentum, then look for the correction of that. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to take advantage of every single move in the market, but I'm looking for good moves, good momentum, good characteristics. Ticks my plan very well. That's what I'm looking to do. This may still be bearish structure, and we may still continue down, but it's just not a setup which I'm going to get involved. So hopefully we do see some momentum like we did over here. Then hopefully that does give a more textbook or a cleaner pullback, I should say, for some sales. But yeah, in terms of the direction, very bearish for Swiss yen. and looking for a push back to the lows here. Just need a setup to fall. And if I quickly look at the JPY basket as well. Okay, so this one's been all over the shop. So we had initially a bounce at the low there, and then price broke through the low, created another lower high. We saw a bit of a sell, but it didn't give us the full move to the low, and then we had a really strong move to the upside. So we're seeing noise here as well. So really what I would do with this as well is kind of just ignore the market structure within this area and kind of look at it a bit more like a range. There's your equal highs, there's your equal lows, and prices kind of fluctuating in between. So with the JPY basket, I'm still kind of looking for a move like this back to the low. But yeah, I'm not really looking to trade that, to be honest. It still looks really corrective. And we are still putting in these lower highs here too. 1, 2, 3. Is this number 4 for another move down? Possibly could be there. But yeah, JPY basket not really giving us much information apart from more sideways price action there. So that's why I'm not a big fan of the yen pairs, apart from dollar yen, which I do like. So I'm looking for entries for that one. Anyway, I'll go through New Zealand dollar, then we'll take a look at oil. So ends the USD. So yeah, this one I'm still pretty bearish on. There's a couple of areas which I'm looking to sell from, this being the first one, 0.57886. I'm looking to short from that really nice swing low. Then the daily chart, really solid support. We broke through that, never really had a retest, or at least a good retest anyway. There was kind of a smaller one there in the lower time frames. And then this level here as well, kind of did get a retest as well, but still a solid level of support, which will be turn resistance. So looking for price to respect one of those two areas, finding entries, and of course looking to swing it back into the low, but more importantly back into this low here, because I do see price creating new lows pretty soon. So in terms of the direction, ends the USD I'm very bearish on. There's a lot of momentum in the market. However, we're not quite trading at areas which I'm willing to short at just yet, so staying patient for that. At the moment, there might be some intraday long opportunities actually. As price forms these higher lows, once over there, second, could see a third one, another push to the upside. That could be something to look at. We have broken through structure. This was a lower high, which gave us this low. Price has since broken through that. So that could be a sign of more upside. And again, hence why I'm looking for pullbacks a lot higher up. So there could be some nice buys in this area, maybe coming back to retest that prior high on the left, which of course now will be turned support there as well. So that could be a nice setup to look for. I'm not necessarily looking to buy New Zealand dollar, but I do want to see it push higher so I can short it back down again. But those are my two areas I'm interested in. Could be some nice swing trades from there. But yeah, very, very bearish on New Zealand dollar still. No signs of me looking to buy that just yet. And in terms of oil, you said you bought it yesterday. I remember you've been looking to buy oil, haven't you? I'm pretty bearish on oil. I do think oil's got a lot more downside to it. Though I see oil looking on the higher time frames, especially with that last weekly candle close, really nice wick to the upside, but then a really strong bearish candle close, more or less giving us a bit of an evening star pattern there. If I connect these swing highs, we've got one over there, got a second over there, third, and there's your fourth. So in my book, I do still see oil selling off to the downside back into these lows, and probably to take up those lows as well. If this is just going to be another lower high, the way I see it is that that wick is just a bit of a fake out in the lower time frame. So if I drop to the daily chart, for example, that was your fake out, kind of testing resistance alongside with the trend line, catching people on the wrong side, and now we're seeing some follow through. So yes, oil at the moment is probably coming to a nice area of support. I think I see the level you're buying from, essentially coming back to retest that resistance there, which of course has now turned support. And in fairness, you've had a bit of a reaction from that zone as well. You said you've bought from 72,605, which is roughly around here somewhere. So it's a nice entry, and price has had a nice move to the upside. But again, I do still see more downside longer term. Might go through a bit of a bounce, but I do still see us falling as long as we can respect that area, of course. I do think oil is going to continue falling. So yeah, what's your target? Stop loss 71,850. So yeah, stop loss is around here somewhere. So you got a decent amount of room in your stop loss as well. But I'm curious about your target. How far are you looking to hold that position? I have to admit, it's a nice level, solid level resistance, and it is at the moment acting as support pretty well. But those lower highs is kind of what I'm looking for price to continue with. But yeah, it's a nice level to buy from. No, I do not trade oil. How do you want it? To be fair, I might look to actually add oil to my trading. Again, I look at it. I don't really look at it in my personal time. In my own time, personal time. I don't look at it in my own time. So off stream, I only look at it on stream for other people. But um, price action wise is not too bad. It does gap quite a lot, at least compared to FX. So that doesn't become too appealing to me because I do hold trades over weekend, and gaps can be a little bit painful if they do gap past your stop loss. You might be losing a little bit more than you expected. So I don't like that about oil. It's gaps, although the gaps aren't necessarily too big, but sometimes they can be. But in terms of price action, I actually don't mind it. It does consolidate quite a bit, but it does have some nice momentum to it as well. And I've been looking at it probably on and off for about 3 years at least. So I would say I'm quite comfortable with the price action. And it does give some pretty nice swings. So I may look to add it to the washers, to be honest. I need to experiment with it. But no, at the moment, I don't trade it. Do you trade it, Holy One? Okay, locked in minimal profit because of the news. Staying cautious. I don't mind it at all. But yeah, I like the position. Where's your target for the trade, or do you have a target, or are you just kind of trading stops along the way? I think it's a decent level to buy from. Really solid resistance, now turn support, and I do think we can actually have a bit of a bounce. I just expect the bigger move to be lower, back to support. So, of course, I could be wrong as well. But yeah, as long as we hold those confidences, I am pretty bearish. So yeah, in terms of my watch list of what I'm looking at personally, there's a few pairs on there. As I mentioned earlier, dollar yen is one of them. Really nice long opportunity on that one. Really nice reaction kind of overnight, but I'm looking to see if we can come back, retest it, form a higher low or equal low, and get some entries off the back of that for some buys, and of course targets back to the swing high. Pound USD, another one on the watch list as well, coming to a very nice level, 1.25, solid level of support here on the left, support, and now looking for it to act as resistance. Really strong level there as well. This one's on the watch list for continuation back to the low. I prefer the setup better to Euro USD, but the price action on Euro has been a little bit better since yesterday. We had a really strong reaction there, so I quite like that about Euro. But Euro doesn't have as much momentum in this bearish leg, so that's why it's a little bit more on the choppy side. But Euro I do like as well, so it's similar to dollar yen, looking for price to react there, come back to the high, either form an equal high or lower high, and catch some shorts back down again, and hopefully we can take it back into the low. But still bearish in Euro. In terms of gold, looking for buys in this one. We're not too far away from entries, really. If price can come back, retest 27.20, look for entries in that area, then hopefully take it back to the high at 27.90. And yeah, probably look to hold it past that, because with gold, I don't really want to have targets. I might look to bank partials, but with gold, I just want to trail stops and see how far we can take it. So shorts and pound, shorts and euro, longs and dollar yen, longs and gold. Shorts New Zealand CAD, really nice area of confluence with this one. Looking to see if we can hold on to, well, initially we broke out this ascending channel. So now I'm looking for price to continue back to its origin, which is this low, which we got very, very close to, but didn't quite test. So I'm still looking at a bit more downside for us to get there. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, you can see if I connect these lower highs up, we've got one over there, second there, didn't quite test it, third, now coming to that fourth area there as well. So I'm looking to see if price can come back, retest that area. We've got some nice confluence with this brief range there with all that momentum, and I'm pretty sure coming to the 0.618 of this fib as well. So it's a really nice area of confluence. Again, looking for equal high, lower high in that area for a big short, back into those lows at 0.798. So entity CAD looks really good. Pound NZD and pound Aussie, I'm still looking at longs, although these guys may have gone without me, to be honest. Pound NZD, I was looking at some buys on the retest of this level, but yeah, we've had a really strong reaction the past couple of days, so I wonder if we are going to get there. And pound Aussie, similar reaction as well, looking for the buys off that area too, but looks like we just missed it as well, and things looking pretty bullish at the moment. So I wonder if we're going to come back down for a retest, but we may not do that. So maybe some missed positions there. But yeah, those are the pairs on my watch list. Yeah, nothing else. I mean, there's a couple of others I do like, but some got to take some time, like pound CHF. I'm waiting for the breakout for that one. We'll go through some CHF pairs as well, because a couple of them do look okay, but they've got some work to do. Holy One. Yeah, exactly. Looking for buys, but I'm not that active anymore. But I'm back. Okay, to the swing trade, taking one trade per week in your CHF buys to the 4-hour gap. Okay, we'll go take a look. I was about to go through the CHF pairs as well, so we'll see what's going on. Okay, so you're back swing trading. Nice. Looking to hold your trades longer. I remember you were saying. I'll go take a look at your CHF. No problem, Ninad. Happy to help. So yeah, in terms of CHF pairs, we'll start with Euro CHF. So you look to trade it back to the gap, which is this gap here, I assume. There's no other gap I can see. So yeah, it's probably that gap you're talking about. So yeah, it looks like we probably will do that, to be honest. I was looking for some shorts for Euro CHF early in the year, but we failed to respect the high there. We went and took up the highs. And since then, the market has been pretty consistent with these higher lows. So as long as we maintain that, we probably will continue. Prices come back and tested some structure there as well. So yeah, I would say Euro CHF is likely to form some type of higher low and a continuation, and probably get back to the highs as well. So that gap looks pretty likely to fill. If I go to the higher time frames on the daily chart, I think in general, I'm expecting a pretty big move to the upside now for Euro CHF. We've got this kind of bearish channel which price is trading in. If I clone this, bring it to the low, yeah, price has kind of been trading in this channel for a while, and it looks like we're about to get the move to the upper end of that channel. So you could be catching the start of a really big move. Of course, I'm not too sure if you target all the way up there, but it is a possibility we could see that follow through. Deleted it because of noise. Fair enough. Trying to stay focused. Yeah, again, if you're finding some things are distracting, there's no point of having it. You know, some people want to look to connect with other people and help and use it to help others as well, help themselves. But of course, if it's not aiding you, then best to stay away anyway. There is a lot of noise, especially on social media as well. Social media is the capital of noise. But yeah, Euro CHF is looking pretty good there. I do think we can see a bit more upside. In terms of pound CHF, I'm actually looking for shorts for this one, but I need to actually break out of the range first, which at the moment is nowhere near in doing so. So I need to stay patient for that. But I'm looking to see price can break below the range to get a swing back to the low. I've actually talked about this opportunity for a while now. I took some shorts towards the end of last year around here. I may look to see if I can get into some shorts back at the high as well, because the way I see it is that if I can catch some nice shorts there, I can ride it back to the low end of the range, and then maybe I can hold it to the low then look for some additional trades once we finally do break the low. Of course, we may break the high as well. That's still a possibility, but I'm more so looking for the continuation of this bearish leg. So that's why I am pretty bearish here on pound CHF. But in terms of where we're trading right now, in the middle of the range, so there's nothing really for me to do. As I said, I may look to re-enter at the highs there, but the reason why I took the entry there is because we had a bit of a fake out as well, so it added a bit more confidence to the trade. Because we took out the highs and then we closed back underneath pretty strongly in this candle. So if we can maybe get like another big wick piercing through the high, that might be something I look to get involved with. Otherwise, I might just wait for the break of the consolidation, to be honest. But yeah, we've been in that range for forever. But I am pretty bearish. Aussie CHF, this one I'm bearish on as well. But need to stay patient, looking to see if we can break through this support level over here at 0.56. So if we can break through that, I do think we can get back to the swing low here. And more importantly, back to the all-time low, which is just underneath us, or just underneath the wick there as well. But of course, need to see price break through that support first, and then we can start to talk about some pullbacks. We have been pretty consistent with these lower highs, so if this is another one, could we look to try and catch that next one and ride it to the low, and that will become my plan, which is kind of what New Zealand CHF is doing. If I go over to New Zealand CHF, we're kind of doing that already. So you can see the lower highs, 1, 2, kind of 3 over there-ish, 4 there. And at the moment, we are trading below really key level of support, which should be acting as resistance. I don't think we've come quite yet to retest it. But yeah, if we were to, I would expect us to react and see some downside. So I'm pretty bearish across most of the CHF pairs. Yeah, I would say maybe CAD CHF. I do expect a bigger pullback for that one. Euro, I do as well. And of course, dollar CHF. That one is looking pretty bearish too, reacting to the high. CHF JPY, I do expect to see that one. Well, a small JPY strength, but I do expect to see JPY, CHF JPY have a bit of a sell-off. So yeah, with New Zealand CHF, looking for the shorts. Maybe if you have one more swing to the upside, I may consider some shorts off the back of that, but it's getting very choppy now, so I may kind of stay away, to be honest. But I am looking at a pretty big swing, should we get one, and something like that in the long run as well. But CHF pairs can be quite choppy at times, so yeah, I would say if you're looking to take any positions in CHF pairs, definitely do your research in terms of your back testing, because if you've been trading like USD pairs or JPY pairs for a while, and you're looking to add CHF pairs to your plate, you need to be a bit careful, because they'll be a little bit more corrective. You probably will get wicked out a little bit more as well, and they probably won't go as far in a given period of time because they're a bit more choppy, a bit more range bound. They do have some nice moves, don't get me wrong, which is why I trade them. You know, look at that move there. When's the last time you saw a USD pair make a move like that? So they do give you moves very aggressively as well from time to time. There's another big one there as well, but they do have their consolidation. So be prepared to potentially get caught in that a couple times. Well, more than a couple, but you get my point. What's up, open minded coding? Hope you well. Tell me if you problem challenge. Hope it went well. Yeah, because I've opened my new prop firm since then. Open minded coding. When was the last time you were on the stream? That was a while ago. But yeah, since then I've opened my own prop firm. Elevating Traders. You can see the logo in the top left there. So yeah, that's it's been a while, man. But hope you're well. Welcome back. Hope you've been okay. Nazar, dollar yen. Okay, we'll take a look at dollar yen. I'll go through the crosses and we'll go through some CAD pairs as well. Before I forget to. So yeah, dollar yen. This is actually a pair which I'm looking to buy. I'm looking to take some positions. Hopefully, we can find some entries around 154. I'm either looking for a higher low or an equal low to form. and then I'm looking for a push back to the high at 159. Excuse me. So yeah, dollar yen very bullish, really nice higher highs and higher lows. Essentially, just looking for the continuation of that move and a push back to 159. But if things go well, probably a push back to 161.790, which if I go to the daily chart, which is the swing high up there, because it looks like potentially we've seen a high form here, a higher low. This is the swing. That might be the pullback of that swing. And now we're going to create some new highs as well. So I think there's a good chance we do get there eventually. So in terms of the buys here, yes, we can trade it back to the respective high, which is this one, but there's a pretty good chance that we go and take out that high as well, which is why I really like the position, because it has that potential to go really, really far, especially with a swing point of view and someone who's looking to trail stops. You could take advantage of a pretty big move here for dollar yen. So there's a lot of upside there for this one. Whether it's back to 158 here or 159 or 162, both moves are pretty big respectively. But of course, it would be nice to hold it a little bit further. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for dollar yen. Another push back to the low and some entries for a buy. Appreciate it. Open-minded coding. Sorry, appreciate it. Yeah, you can have a look. There's a link in the description. There's a link to the Discord as well if you want to check out the Discord as well. If you want to join that, it's completely free to join too. But yeah, have a check. Have a little scan if you are interested, and of course that goes for anyone in the stream. Okay, so I will go through the CAD pairs and then I'll go through some of the crosses as well. Haven't talked about them yet. So CAD pairs, the only CAD pair I'm really interested in at the moment, as I said earlier, is New Zealand CAD. Really nice confidence in this area for some shorts, and hopefully we can catch the lower high in that same area. 1, 2, 3, and looking for number 4 in that same area. It may have formed already. I'm looking to see if price can retest the high there, and then I'll find some entries. But then the goal is to see if I can swing it back to the low there at 0.798. If I expand to the weekly chart, things look very bearish longer term. You can see the major lower highs New Zealand CAD has been forming here. So the goal is to expect more of the same, and I do expect us to eventually get back to this low there. So that's why I'm pretty confident we can get back to this support level here at least, and most likely break through. So if I can find the lower high, I'm looking to take that trade because I know it has some mileage to the downside should the trend continue. Again, if I can get some entries in this area here, if a stop looking like this, you're looking at least a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 back to this area, maybe even more as well. Yeah, so 1 to 4. So there is risk reward here. There is opportunity. So New Zealand CAD looks really good to me. Aussie CAD's not as good. We did break out the channel. I shortened this one last week. Didn't play ball. We broke out of this descending channel here, so I'm no longer interested in this one. I am still pretty bearish on this one longer term, but because it has broken out of the channel, it may be having a deeper pullback than expected. And because it kind of negates all my confluences, it means that there is no kind of clear-cut entry or trade for me to take anymore. I'm expecting price to get back to support down here. Again, similar to New Zealand CAD, we broke out this ascending channel here. And since we've had that break, I am looking for price to swing back down to the low, just like we formed with these lower highs, the equal highs there. Another one there as well. So I do still see that happening in the long run. So in terms of entries, in terms of trades, again, looking for price to respect the high as we come back into support here, and which of course will become resistance, respect the high. I was looking for the continuation there, but as you can see, we did break above. So that confluence has been put to bed a little bit. We may still see that bigger swing to the downside, but we may trend to the upside a little bit further first. So that's why New Zealand CAD looks a lot better. In terms of Euro CAD, Yeah, not really interested in this one. Very, very messy price action. I said yesterday, looks like price is probably going to push back to the high here. It looks like it's just missed it by a few pips. So again, with EuroCAD, I do think more upside pretty likely. So I'd say if you're on an intraday point of view, we probably are going to put a higher low in here just to keep pushing higher. So from an intraday point of view, there could be some nice buys in the next a couple days here or day to take advantage here for EuroCAD, a push back to the high there at 1.512 and expecting a push, back into that resistance there. But the reason I don't like EuroCAD because the price action is extremely flat. Equal highs here, equal lows there roughly, and we haven't really gone anywhere for about 2 years. The market has been pretty flat, pretty consistent, and just fluctuating up and down. So there hasn't really been a clear-cut trend with momentum, sustained momentum, which is really what I'm looking for when I'm trading. I'm looking for trends, I'm looking for momentum, which of course don't happen all the time in FX. It's probably about 30% of the time, roughly, we do actually trend, which is why I do trade a wide range of markets because about 30% of those markets I'm looking at are actually going to be trending at one time. So those are the markets I'll be focusing on. Anything that is ranging or just very choppy, I want to stay clear away from and wait for it to give me some type of momentum at some point. And EuroCAD is one of them. And if it goes and breaks the high and we form a bit of a trend off the back of that, then yeah, this will be something I look to add to the watch list and something I start to actively look to trade. But right now, from an intraday point of view, there is some momentum there. I do expect us to get back to the high. So I would fancy some intraday buys for that one. And then pound CAD as well. I do think this one's got a bit more mileage to the upside, although I do expect it to react and come down pretty hard as well. You can see for EuroCAD, nice trending market, but we've seen some signs that it's starting to run out of steam, starting to slow down. You can see the equal highs here. There's resistance once, twice, a third time, and a fourth time. Not a sign of a market which is trending well. You want price to be breaking highs and pulling back, and breaking highs. That's a sign of a healthy market, a market which is respecting highs on 4 occasions, especially seeing aggressive selling, pressure off the back of that. It's a sign of a market that is running out of steam. So if we do come back there again, which looks like we probably are, we probably will see another reaction. So I think shorts off that high look good. There could be some kind of intraday buys on the way up towards that area. This is the hourly chart. Maybe if we do pull back, see another higher low, that could end up being a nice buy. Coming back to retest this area, nice brief consolidation, strong move to the upside. This could be a nice place for a buy. Probably get the 200 lines up pretty well with it as well. So you could catch a nice buy there, at least back to the high. Doesn't have to be back to the daily resistance. You can find an entry here, back to the high, still looking at pretty good risk reward. So for pound CAD, I do think more upside is likely. Probably just for some more downside in the long run, but yeah, it does look like price is probably going to push up a little bit more, similar to EuroCAD. And EuroCAD, pound CAD, they do the same thing 90% of the time. So if you can look at both markets and they look like they're both going to do the same move and giving you similar characteristics, that's a good sign. It's a confluence. If you get a situation where you look at EuroCAD and it's looking bearish and you get pound CAD it's looking bullish, that's where things might be a bit of an issue. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm favoring for the CAD pairs. How do one up 289 on Aussie CAD sell? I can upload for you and post. Okay, on Discord. Looks like GJ picked the direction, trying to find an entry now. Okay, I'll have a look at GJ in the 5-minute as well. So is this another swing trade as well, Holy One? Okay, nice entry there. Okay, yeah, to be fair, I'm looking too short as well, Aussie CAD, but it broke the channel, so my confidence went with that one. So I'm more focused on New Zealand CAD, and again, Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, they do the same thing as well. So since New Zealand CAD looks a little bit better to me, so that's the one I'm looking to trade, but I'm looking to sell that as well. But yeah, looking good. What's your target for that one, Holy One? How far are you looking to take that trade? Because if you're looking to take it back into the swing low, That's a pretty big move. I mean, Aussie CAD doesn't have a lot of pips, but it's a decent swing, I would say. Where is there we go. That took me ages to find. It's about 150 pips there, which is pretty big for Aussie CAD. Okay, let me have a quick look at GJ. Okay. Oh, would you look at that? There's some momentum there. Okay, so we are seeing some momentum as well. Okay, so you're looking for selling opportunities, dark Sean, for pound yen. Um, I mean, I'm not quite convinced just yet, but again, don't let me talk you out the position. If you got a trade and a setup and it fits your plan, you do what you need to do. But as we approach these areas here, I wonder, are we going to go for a bit of a bounce? And again, it might just be a bounce for a lower high to form and then a continuation lower. So that could be the case as well. Um, it may not necessarily be a push, back to the highs. We form the equal lows here, higher low. This is in a higher low vicinity where again we could see another one of those form. As I said, it might just be a situation where price has that push to go and test that level there and then continue further. So it might just be the pullback I'm referring to. But because in this area, if you look to the left, a really nice, powerful move to the upside, a lot of momentum. Now price is just coming back to retest that area. If we do see some signs of price respecting it, I do fancy a push higher up, which could take us back to the high if we do break through that zone there. Likewise, if we do retrace and form another lower high, then we could come straight back down as well. So that could be a nice trade to look at as well. Uh, 0.88. Oh, okay, a lot of eights there. Okay, so that's around here. So yeah, almost at the low. That's 130 pip move probably, which for Aussie CAD is a pretty big move. It's a decent swing on Aussie CAD. But yeah, it's looking good. Holy one. Let's see if that can continue and hope that can join you on New Zealand CAD as well. Stock market case yesterday, hold long position on Apple. And it's the only one holding at the level. Oh, that's not a good sign, I'll tell you that. When you look at correlated markets and every other market correlated to the pair you're trading or the market trading has broken through support, and then the one you're trading hasn't broken the support, it's either you just got lucky and that might bounce, or it's like, okay, it's a ticking time bomb. Ticking time bomb. It's gonna blow soon. Been there a few times. Let me actually have a look at Apple. I haven't had a look at this one for ages. Yeah, that's kind of the last time I look at Apple around then, which is November 2023. Wow, that's a long time ago. That's a year. So yeah, it is actually holding support pretty well here on the 4-hour chart. Really nice reaction as well. I mean, it's doing a pretty good job. It's not like it's kind of just semi-holding like a few wicks. It's actually kind of had a decent bounce there. I mean, I know today's price action is yet to come around, but yesterday, really nice close there, really strong close. So, I mean, maybe today we might see a bit of a wick to the upside because we're coming into this area where we're forming lower highs. So, you can see the lower highs prices forming here. So as we do might push up today, then, as we come back into that area, we could still sell off there potentially. So I'd watch out for that. But it's a nice reaction, decent close yesterday. But yeah, around the 233 mark, 233, I would start to kind of maybe see if I can lock in gains or just remove risk. So if it does come back down, worst case scenario, walk away for break even. That's kind of how I'll be looking at it. The gaps in Apple are absurd. Yeah, that's the thing about stocks. You know, they do gap a lot because, of course, they have that little window which they trade. So if you are going to trade stocks, I'll probably recommend just keep it intraday, keep it within the session because holding it overnight could be great, of course, if it gaps for you. But if you have a stop loss somewhere, say for example, you were buying here and your stop loss was there, and then it opened up here, you're probably losing twice as much as you wanted to lose. Of course, if it's for you, you're buying here somewhere and then it gaps in your favor, again, you're loving life. So it's a double-edged sword. It can be for you and against you. But yeah, it might be a bit too chaotic to do it all the time. So I'd say intraday is probably the best. Okay, wait for you to see the reaction. Well, yeah, news is going to drive Apple a lot. That's what you're going to get with stocks. News can be a huge catalyst. Okay, so let me go through some of the crosses. So Euro Aussie, I believe, we're still ranging here, aren't we? Okay, we're starting to break to the upside a little bit, but price action is still wayward. Again, the way I look at this one is that we got a very sideways market here, which is why I haven't traded in a while. It just hasn't really been moving well. And there is a bit of resistance on the left here, which price is holding on to, which I have been mentioning that we could go and form a bit of a double top here. So come back, respect the high, bit of a sell. We could very much go and do something like that for Euro Aussie. So there is some downside potential here for Euro Aussie. I'm just not a fan of the price action. It's way too flat. If we don't hold into that level, then I'll look for a slightly bigger move to the daily chart to this area, which again we've mentioned a few times. But if that first level doesn't hold, then that's the level I'll be expecting to see a reaction from. And then maybe we do go through a pretty big swing. If we do come back to support, we could see something like that happen. So the thing is, ranges aren't great, they aren't fun, but excuse me, ranges aren't great, they aren't fun. But if you have a big range and you do catch a high, you do catch a low, and you swing it to the other side of the range, you could look at really, really big risk reward plays there. So it can be attractive from that point of view, especially if you can catch it on a fake out a little bit. Like for example, really nice support here, once, twice, and then we kind of fake it with that wick there. You have the chance to refine your risk. Your stop loss doesn't need to be any greater than the low of that wick there. And if you can enter somewhere here, could be looking at a really big move to the upside. So ranges, although they can be a bit boring and a bit of a nuisance as well, especially if they kind of move halfway just to come back down again, that can be very annoying as well. But from risk to reward point of view, especially if you're trading like daily and weekly ranges, it makes sense actually. It makes sense to trade them. They do make sense. If it's kind of like a very tightly knit range, then it doesn't make any sense really because the reward ain't worth it. But bigger plays do make sense. Yes, waiting for pullback to find a sell entry. Okay, makes sense. So yeah, as I said with pound yen, that low, that consolidation does make sense for some shorts. I would be wary of this area here for some buys, but if you're not looking to buy, if you're looking for sells, then something like that could make a lot of sense, maybe in the New York session. And if this is a lower high, comparison to this high and that high there, then we could even see a push all the way back down there. I'm not too sure if you look to hold into the trade for that long, but that could be a possibility there back to the low. Are the other yen pairs looking a little bit bearish? Or was it just pound yen? Euro yen, what we doing? Okay, bit of a move down there. Dollar yen, what we saying? Slight reaction, but not much. CAD yen. Okay, but that again, very, very minimal. This doesn't really change much in terms of the bigger picture, but we are seeing some momentum to the downside here. Looks like JPY is a little bit strong, and of course, Aussie yen and New Zealand yen inside the ranges, selling off a little bit, but that's not really going to do anything for me. So, yeah. But again, from an intraday point of view, could be a nice trade. How much input do you feel the consumer confidence will affect the DXY? Not much, to be honest, Manzondi. I think if you look at the market in terms of like a 5-minute chart, you might see a bit of a move there. If you look at it on a 4-hour candlestick, you might see a bit of fluctuation, but I wouldn't expect much. So is it, again, I say I wouldn't expect much. That's in general because there has been some times where consumer confidence has caused a pretty big reaction, and there's been times where you just don't know there was even news. That's how small the reaction was. So in general, it's very, very small, very, very small in terms of consumer confidence on the DXY. But with that said, it depends on time frames you're trading. Like for me, for example, on the 4-hour chart, I wouldn't worry about consumer confidence. Yes, sometimes it will give a little bit of a move, but my stop loss is normally big enough to stomach whatever consumer confidence will do. If you're on like the 5-minute chart, then yes, it might be a very small reaction as well, but there's a chance it could be a slightly bigger one, and it could be a bit of a nuisance to your trade if you do have any trades open as well. So the 5-minute chart, I would still show it some respect and try and see if you can trade around it. If you're like 4-hour hourly, you probably just don't need to worry too much about it. Again, the three big news events I would watch out for is CPI, Fed, and NFP. And of course, any kind of interest rate for the respective currency you're trading. So a Swiss interest rate, euro, whatever currency you're trading, that to watch out for as well. PPI can cause some moves as well. Most of the time is pretty stale too, but can move the market a little bit. Jobless claims as well can move the market, but most of the time it is pretty flat too. But again, if you're on the 5-minute chart, I would definitely pay attention to all those news events. But from a 4-hour point of view, those three I'd watch out for. 53 message in Discord. That's what happens when you go away, Holy One. Yeah, we've been sharing some ideas back and forth. Another 23 from Audacity. How long were you away from Discord for, Holy One? Set to die. Please check dollar CHF in a short position on the hourly time frame. Okay, I'll go through dollar CHF for you. No problem. All right, take care. We'll have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you coming on to the stream. Yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow, hopefully. So set to die. You said you're short dollar CHF. Let's go see what is happening down there. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish on dollar CHF as well. We're coming from a really big level in the weekly chart, so I do expect to see a lot more downside for USD CHF. You can see here's the weekly time frame. Respect the once, twice. We could see it again a third time and see a massive swing. So naturally coming to resistance. We've also got the 200 EMA there on the weekly chart. So primarily speaking, this is an area where sellers are looking to jump into the market. Whether they're successful or not, that's a different question. But if you're a buyer early on, here's a bit of a no-brainer target to have. You may have higher targets, but you most likely are looking to close some positions at this area. So expecting a bit of a reaction. It is pretty likely, and we have seen that. It's just how big of a reaction will it be? Is it going to be a reaction like this, or is it just a reaction of a couple of candles before we break through? We'll find that out as time continues. But on the lower time frames, what we can do is we can look for some shorts, and as long as the market structure stays bearish, we stay bearish. And for now, that is what the market is doing. It's still seeing lower lows and lower highs. I believe you said you're in a short. Yes, you did in a short position. So I like it in terms of what I'm expecting next, because we have had a bit of a reaction here for dollar CHF. Really strong impulsive move followed by a pretty strong impulsive move back up again. Bit more like a big V-shaped pattern. So not the healthiest sign in terms of this bearish structure. So I did say there might be a bit of development here in terms of consolidation. I mean, if you can catch another fake out to the upside, I feel like that could be a really nice entry to take dollar CHF short, because there has been a bit of a theme for dollar CHF. We form a bit of a consolidation, kind of fake the high of it, and then we fall. Bit of a consolidation here as well, fake the high of it, and then we fall. Bit more consolidation, fake the high of it, and then we fall. So I would anticipate something like that happen again. Maybe a bit of sideways movement, push the upside, and then we have a bit of a drop there. So dollar CHF, as long as we maintain this structure here, you can see I've mapped out with the trend line there as well. I do think there's a good chance we get back to the low, but I wouldn't want to jump in straight away given how prices retrace. It's not like a normal healthy pullback. It's with a lot of momentum, especially after such a big drop. If you see a big drop like that in a trend, you kind of want price to slowly push up and show some signs of continuation. If we drop really hard and come straight back up almost just as hard, it's more like a sign that says, okay, maybe we reached the climax of this bearish trend and we might actually be bullish. So and you see some evidence that shows that, okay, we're still bearish, trend's still good, we're going to continue. And of course, if we do break structure, take out this high here, then yeah, dollar CHF is going to push back to the high. But for now, something like that would be nice. So yeah, I am bearish as well, but yeah, I would still wait patiently for that lower high to form. About 3 weeks. Okay, that's not even much. That's not even that long. But yeah, have been active. But yeah, if anyone does want to join the Discord, the link to the Discord is in the description below. For elevating traders, of course, you can chat with other traders. You can chat with myself. I do post ideas there, so do other people. Comment, discuss. You can find out a little bit more about elevating traders if you are interested. The link to that is in the description, and of course, at the top of the chat as well. So if you're interested, make sure you get at it. So yeah, in terms of the other crosses, we had a look at Euro Aussie. Let me go through Euro NZD quickly. Again, I'm not a big fan of these pairs, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. But overall, very, very flat stuff here. You can see how the market is just rebounding the high. Again, it's not actually a bad place to short, although I'm not a big fan of the price action. If you're looking for a big sell, this is kind of the place for it. I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to be a winning trade, but if it does play out, the risk is definitely worth the reward. And if you had an entry here, stop loss there, you risked $100 for that position. If I draw an entry, a stop loss, let's say if it does play out back to the low, yeah, that 100 could be $700 in terms of rewards. And if you're going to risk 100 to make 700, that's a position that you want to take every day of the week, as long as there's a healthy edge behind it, and there is. If market respects the high, it is a pretty good chance we do sell off. I would suggest, though, look to lock in some gains at the halfway point, though, just because there has been some evidence of us not getting quite to the low. For example, let's say if you did short here and you had targets right below the range here, price came about 95% of the way before turning around. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're shorting and then all your floating profits just disappear because we didn't quite test it to the pip. So if you can lock in gains halfway, I don't really recommend trading stops in a range. It doesn't make too much sense because the market is a bit more corrective. So you probably will get trailed out quite a lot. But locking gains halfway can be a good way to kind of battle against a reversal kind of before your targets are hit. But in terms of where we're trading, really nice level resistance. Price is still stuck at that same area. There's a lot of consolidation here as well. So if price can break outside of that, I think that was the green light that will send us to the downside. Something like that could be good. But as for pound Aussie and pound NZD, I've been looking to long these guys, but it looks like they're leaving the station without me. I was looking for some longs here at 1.95, got some nice confidence down there. We came very, very close, but now prices just zoomed to the upside. It's looking very bullish there. And I believe pound NZD is looking just as bullish, and it is. We didn't respect that high there. I mean, we didn't get to the high, but this was the level I was looking to buy from. Again, probably would have had the 200 lining up there as well. We still could get there, so I'm not ruling out that trade. We are still very consistent with all these higher lows. The goal is just to find the next one really in this sequence, but I'm not too sure if I'll be able to get there. Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Only one. Okay, appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. I appreciate that, holy one. But yeah, of course, if it's too much noise, I understand as well, man. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with those crosses, euro pounds. I'm still kind of waiting for some buys a lot further down, but this one has been taking its sweet time. Looking for some entries around this area, 0.833. Oh, just hit my cup there. Euro pounds on the higher time frames, particularly the monthly chart, is testing some colossal support. I do think we can turn around here. We're about to get the monthly candle close in the next 3 days. So we're going to see how this kind of does close. But even if it does close like this, it's an indication that the market is respecting support. And we could see Feb, the following month, be bullish as well. And again, you can see previously reactions from here have given us a lot more upside. So as long as we're trading at this area and we haven't broken through the area, I'm always going to anticipate price holding that support and possibly a move to the upside here. So I'm pretty bullish for euro pound. So if we do come back into that 4-hour level, I'm actually going to be looking for entries. It depends how we get there, whether I take it or not. Again, a setup can look good, but by the time it does set up, it might not be looking as good as you originally wanted it to. So I may not take the trade, but in terms of the setup now, it looks pretty good. If the pullback's still relatively healthy, I'll look for some entries. Okay, take care. Holy One, have a good one, my man. We'll see you. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow, if not, whenever. But yeah, that's the plan there with euro pound. We'll wait for that to happen. And Aussie New Zealand dollar, I also do have a setup which I'm interested in for this one as well. If I go to the daily chart, you can see the market's still pretty consistent with these higher lows. So we've got one back over here, second over there. Of course, we create the high, higher low, higher high. Again, another higher low and just about another higher high. So I'm looking to see if price can push back into the low over here, retest that same area, and hopefully look for a nice buy back into the high there as well. That's very much the plan with Aussie New Zealand dollar. So very, very bullish with this one as well. However, we're taking our sweet, sweet time with that move. We've been consolidating for a few weeks here. This is the daily chart, so you can see just how many daily candles we've been dancing around in that area. So hopefully we can get a bit of a break to the downside at some point, find some entries, and then take it back to the high. But yeah, the plan is to find the next higher low and see if we can swing it back to where we came from. And again, this pair I would be interested in, but it's nowhere near. So nowhere near to my entry area. So I'm not going to add it to the watch list because it's not really worth my time to look at it just yet. If it does break out, I'll probably add it for next week. But yeah, in terms of my watch list, my main focus is dollar yen buys. We've already tested the area once, so let's see if we can get back there again. Gold looks really, really good. I think that's my favorite setup at the moment. And the setup, which hopefully we can find some entries, potentially even later today, If New York opens up bearish, might see a push down and then some entries later in the day, if not early tomorrow morning. So gold are really something I'm looking closely at. I like the opportunities here. Very, very bullish breakout. Lovely level of prior resistance where we turn support. And we've got the all-time highs to target there as well. And of course, with gold being bullish on numerous timeframes, especially the higher ones, there's a good chance we do continue to the upside. So gold longs look really good. Like I said, probably favorite setup at the moment. Dolly and buys look good. Pound USD shorts look good as well. I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Looks like we're seeing some downside now. So again, looking for an equal high or a lower high to form at this 1.25 level. Find some shorts, take it back into the low. Euro USD likewise as well. Again, not looking to trade them both, but pound USD and euro, they do the same thing. So I'm going to see which one presents a better opportunity and take that one. But in terms of direction, in terms of the idea, still looking for a swing back to the lows there. In terms of New Zealand CAD, looking for a short on this one as well. And had a nice initial reaction. So again, looking to see if price can get back to that high, respect it, and hopefully find a nice short back to the lows. That's really where my focus will be this week. A couple of other pairs which look okay, but not quite ready yet. Maybe towards the end of the week, I'll discuss them in a bit more detail. But those pairs there are really where my focus lies for now. So hopefully you can get some entries soon. Hopefully some entries on gold soon. And yeah, guys, I'll let you guys know if I do. Check out the Discord. We'll post ideas and setups I'm looking to take there. So if you're not a part of the Discord, make sure you go check it out if you're interested. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, I really do appreciate you tuning in to the stream today. I will be live again tomorrow. I'm live every weekday as always from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, say hi. We do not bite. As always, guys, if you have enjoyed the content, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel on your way out. It really does help out the channel and I do really appreciate it. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day and I'll catch you all in the next one.